Before I get started, beginning with this video, and hopefully continuing with all future Origins videos, in cooperation with Esclair Studios, I will be giving away a sponsored single character shadow box of the character featured in this Origin video. If you would like to have a chance to win this beautiful and unique artwork of A, the instructions are quite simple. Just like the video, and subscribe if you have. Once the video Twitch message, invited in the desk, right?
Hey guys, it's me, EOD Gamer here, and so they officially just released 2 new characters, or at least the drip marketing, because there's even like the VAs and stuff that they officially announced, which means these characters likely will come up closer than we think, most likely at least. And this is the first one, Acheron, or Acheron, however, maybe I'm pronouncing it very badly. And the other one, of course, is going to be Black Swan here in the PV that they release a bit more. So we recently won like the mobile game, I think best mobile game of 2023. Likely can expect some stellar jits, and they also dropped this video. Let's take a look.
Do you still remember it? Fables about the stars. Its stories tell of what is and what was. Its pages will always reveal something new.
I really like her VA, very, very nice.
Those are unforgettable memories, but they are only a beginning. It won't all be merrymaking. Suffering and joy will both be added to the final draft of the story. The path of the Trailblaze will continue. Perhaps on one of these pages, I'll appear in your story too.
Welcome to Penacony, young lady. May I ask your name?
Wow.
Acheron, the Galaxy Ranger.
Amazing stuff. And also they dropped it together with this. I'll link it like in the video description if any of you want to check out the official video. So now the second part of this, I'm going to do like a bit of not non-creepy stalking. I'm just going to search out their VAs and what they actually did, other games they acted on. Which one do you prefer so far, just based on their design and VA? I'll tell you my preference in a bit, but let's first talk about the first one since she's first up in the order. Erin Zack, the voice of Black Swan. So let's just take a look at like some of the games that she acted in. 41 different previous games, and officially here she already put it in her IMDb page, Black Swan here. She acted in some other ones. I'm not a real like movie buff or like watching a lot of other TV series. She seems to be more of into TV series and maybe like just branching out into video games here. Like a lot of TV series games now just starting into video games. It's a smart choice for a lot of VAs to move into other like video games because there's demand there recently too with all the huge gacha game craze. Everyone loves good VAs. So yeah, I'm not too like familiar with her other ones. If any of you know any of these, is she a very big VA or is she like considered like relatively small? I'm not really too sure. I just know that her voice is amazing. Definitely solid English VA. The next one on the list is, as you can see, I already like took a pic and glimpse because very new character, super excited, Allegra Clark. I thought that her name sounded very, very familiar, so I actually went to go and search. She was the voice actor for Beidou in Genshin Impact. Over here you can see. So no wonder it sounded so familiar, and it's very, very nice. Electro Beidou, now moving over to of course Honkai Star Rail. But it seems that maybe she's not the Raiden Shogun equivalent. Maybe there might be a Raiden Mei in future as well. A lot of people are saying this is the Raiden Shogun, Raiden Mei of Honkai Star Rail, but who knows? Because they usually like to use like the same Jet VA, that lady who always voice acts. So we have to see the JP to actually know whether this is like the equivalent or whether we might get another Raiden Shogun character in future too. So who knows about that? Anyways, Let me just see what else that she voice act in a lot of video games. Acheron's voice actor definitely acted in a lot more other video games. So she has been in the space for quite a while. I'm just like going to mention stuff that I personally play. Of course, I don't think my repertoire of games is like as wide as some of you guys. Three Hopes, Fire Emblem Warriors, Dorothea, Shamir. Really nice VAs here. Dorothea is like amazing. Shamir is also amazing too. Similar vibes to Shamir, I think. Acheron so far. Other than that, we have a lot of big names like Scarlet Nexus, we have Fate, Grand Carnival, a TV series. Shows she's very, very diverse. A lot of video games, like recent ones that have been pushed out. Jujutsu Kaisen also. Nier Reincarnation. Quite, as you can see, like a lot more than Black Swan. So definitely much more established. The Legend of Heroes, Trials into Reverie, Muriel, Grandmaster. This is one of like probably my best favorite series of all time. Like definitely by far. What also probably inspired Honkai Star Rail, as they mentioned. Very, very nice VA. So yeah, a really amazing repertoire. I can really like scroll on forever, and you guys can check it out too, on both of them. But let me know your thoughts. Which one are you more inclined to? My personal preference, I think her VAs is probably better. Like I like Black Swan's VA a little bit more, but oh my gosh, look at this design. This is amazing. Definitely, I think I would be pulling for Acheron. The question is like, how many Eidolons do I want a signature? At least we have some time to save. I always like how Hoiver's gives us a bit of lead time in advance. Probably, I think Black Swan maybe will come first. The only other characters that have been like dripped and haven't been released yet probably is Screwlum. But we'll see how that goes. Of course, Runmei is coming up too, and Dr. Ratio. So maybe she's next, like in 1-2 patches time. So if you like
Hey everyone, and welcome to Tevat Historia. Over the past 2 years, I've spent many hundreds of hours exploring and explaining the lore of 1. A is a villain who has done horrible things, including starting a war. From the moment Inazuma's Electro Archon arrived, for many, a certain image was painted of an inflexibly rigid, unfaltering, and cruel, all-powerful god, causing many to project upon her expectations that she play out the role of a villain. While some of those words can describe A, as we first met her, those words take new meaning undeniably when we use them to describe the puppet. So true is that statement that those words can seem insufficient to describe A afterwards. That becomes ever clearer after the events of her second story quest. But allow me, if you will, to draw a line between the two. In version 2.0, we watched as the Raiden Shogun takes the vision from Toma's hip, with intent to inlay it upon the still mysterious and unexplained statue of the omnipresent god. Upon our traveler's interference in this moment, she shows her power, descending from the decking around the statue of the viewing area to the area below, walking on pure electro energy in what was one of the most memorable moments in the entire game. This might seem obvious to some of you, but it bears purpose to point out that this individual was not A. This was as it had been for several hundred years before, the puppet. Raiden A was only the inhabitant of the body we saw when the puppet's eyes were aglow with purple energy. And even then, we learned from A during her first story quest that she had not been a regular inhabitant of the puppet's form at all. To do so in her mind at that time would have exposed her to erosion. We also learned the Vision Hunt decree had her tacit approval, tacit being a word meaning that she only ever provided passive, silent approval by not interfering with the puppet's current path. But that said, she openly admits that she did not have full knowledge of what had been happening within Inazuma unless it was related directly to Eternity itself. So, the war was left to be the domain of her puppet and the Tenryu Commission. A designed that puppet to act autonomously without oversight, allowing her to remain focused on Eternity and sealed away such that she could prevent erosion. A very much needed to trust the puppet could apply her vision of Eternity without issue, as A's dedication to her principle of Eternity at that time saw her give up her physical form and bind herself to the Musa Ishin. So with all of that outlined, recent events in Inazuma which brought about the Vision Hunt Decree and a war with the Watatsumi Island Resistance, were caused by the Fatui's knowing manipulation of the complex yet malleable Raiden Shogun puppet. Their influence is what nudged both sides into a war, causing the death of countless Inazumans, and so in a way, being referred to as the puppet is the perfect way to describe her. While A established a complex set of rules and guidelines that dictated how she would enact her will, the Fatui's intel allowed them to pull her strings, unknowingly as a result of her predictable programming, allowing the puppet to be misled into bringing harm to others. However, the main point here is that A trusted the puppet to act in the interest of eternity and needed not every detail of how it was implemented. As we all know, A would later discover that while eternity may have been the principle nearest unto heaven, eternity is also nearest unto folly as well. Perhaps that, in and of itself, is the lesson to take away regarding the many great lies of Celestia that are becoming apparent as the game's Archon questline continues to drive ahead. Number 2. A's first story quest was a pointless date quest. One of the single most eye-twitchingly cringy comments I've heard frequently about A since her first story quest is this idea that it was a date quest. I'm gonna be brutally honest here, guys. That quest was in no way a date quest. In fact, I suspect for some of those who actually firmly believe this, they must have been on some dates where the other person involved had no perception of the date whatsoever. A's first story quest was a critical and much needed entry, which establishes A as a much more sympathetic character, and notably more human and thus flawed than was previously understood. That is to say, A has indeed become capable of seeing past her heavenly principle, and was not completely hardened by the tragic events causing her to cross a point of no return. Certainly, those events contributed to strengthening her staunch dedication to eternity for a time, but they didn't make her a murderer or someone incapable of compassion, as was clearly outlined by her unwillingness to kill Kujo Kamaji of the Tenryu Commission at the resolution of their duel. Furthermore, throughout the quest, there weren't even subtle tones which would suggest an overtly romantic theme was the intent of the quest's direction. The true purpose of this quest was to start the growth arc for Raiden A, such that her transformation by 2.5 made complete sense when standing back and looking at it as a mosaic, and had obvious foreshadowing from the outset. While it is a fair criticism that A's first story quest was indeed paced a bit slow, this allowed the Traveler and Paimon to take A around the city and highlight the fact that despite her very best efforts, change remains inevitable. But this opportunity for epiphany only existed due to the approximate 500-year period in which A remained isolated. This allowed A to form a mental snapshot of what things used to be like, without the decision to essentially lock herself in a room, another decision the community consistently criticizes A for. It's unlikely this realization ever could have occurred. To make a comparison, it's like moving away from your hometown for the first time. You've spent your entire first couple decades of life there. You come to feel as if you know every inch. It's comfortable, it's familiar. While living there, most changes don't seem substantial unless they directly impact you. But after moving away for many years, when you return, those many subtle changes that keep happening over time in your absence add up into a perceptually instantaneous and dramatic change that renders your hometown unrecognizable. This was the effect that finally allowed the fragment
息も絶え絶えのくせに
私のこの拳で止める。
ちゃんはいつもこう仕打ちを向きさらし
私と一緒にお散歩に行きませんか？館長、これ以上はダメですよ。館長と一緒にいられてとても楽しいです。予想していたよりも館長のことが気になるかも。館長から見たらまだ子供なんですね。
I know she like it for real. I'm a flyer like Aladdin on a pussy golden blessing. Why she did it? 'Cause she
Hey everyone, and welcome to Teyvat Historia. Over the
The next video is rated.
Blah 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 blah.
I don't want eternity anymore.
Where is the wine? Where is the wine? Where is the wine? Where is the wine?
Blah blah
お昼ご飯を作ったよ。
blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah
Their health points down to 0 time ago.
blah blah.
そういえば、今日洗濯物干してたっけ？
ました。冒険だ冒険。いざ参ろう。出発しようか。No!
Oh no! What?
That must be the true form of Inazuma Archon. She don't looks really dangerous now. I am still alive, so maybe is friendly. I think this is a golden opportunity for me. Hello. Can you give me your gnosis? Pretty please?
赤い虹が血まみれ街を姫の歌姫の歌甘い夢が思い出の中終わりまで
You have 5 seconds to subscribe.
Is that all?
Road Killer made a new video.
Road Killer, he's popping off. He's doing amazing. He's growing fast.
We got another banger from Road Killer here.
Road Killer, like, you're just that good at making this Xyz. Props to you, man.
To keep going.
Okay.
So this is defeat.
Huh? Boy, ain't no fucking way, boy.
Wait a minute!
No, God! No, God, please, no!
Okay. Easy, Numby. Easy.
Huh? Double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon. Hella ass. The sun is still out. Huh?
Rated PS for pretty stupid.
I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to subscribe.
Get ready for the next battle.
It's a full market.
A new trailer has dropped for Topaz and Numby.
I am pulling for Topaz. I like her. I want her. She's going to be mine.
We see 90% Topaz.
Hey, what's up guys? Jake2 here and welcome back to another Nikke video. So today it's gonna be something different. We'll be doing a card unboxing video. Beautiful Woman 2. Yeah, this is the part 2 of that set. So as you can see on the sides, we can see the design of the cards that we can get. And yeah, this one is Dorothy, by the way. So this is the card that I really want to get from this card set right here. So, before we begin, please, for me, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell on so you don't miss any Nikke contents or Nikke guides that I create. It helps out the channel a lot and it's free. It's actually one of the best ways that you can support the channel. And I'm trying to hit 3K before the end of the year, so please help me out. Thank you. So without further ado, let's actually start opening this card box right here. Alright. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? Very nice box, by the way. I think this is magnet. How do we open this? Oh. Here. Oh, that is really good. And here we can see RAM. Okay, nice. And this is... Oh, this one's different. This is like one of the higher rarity cards. Quite thick. I guess for this one, we'll open it later at the very last part. So right now, let's check how many packs do we get from a single box. Very nice box, by the way. Let me put it right here. Okay, so let's count. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, one moment. Just... where is it? There you go. So let's open up one so we can check how many cards we can actually get per pack. So this is the first card. Let's see. Who is it? Let's see here. Kearsarge? What's that? Kearsarge or something? I don't know. Who is that? This is number 2. This is Hanako. This is from Blues. Get this. Okay. Still pieces. Where is it? There's one more right here. Oh, oh, hold on. Not safe. Not safe. Okay. So that's everything. Let me just put the SSR here. And yeah. Puzzle pieces over there. So we're gonna go with 3 packs all at the same time. Oh, very nice card. Finally, we got a Nikke card. So
okay, so this is a TCL 40 Next Paper. And at first glance, it might not appear to be a particularly special phone. Like, this is a $200 budget Android phone. It's got a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, a pretty standard issue 50 megapixel main camera, flanked by a 5 megapixel ultra wide and a 2 megapixel macro. And inside, a MediaTek G88 processor, 8 gigs of RAM, and 256 gigs of storage. This design is pretty basic. It's squared up, nothing too offensive, a solid blue color with some sparkles in it, but it has exactly one really interesting feature that's caught my attention. And that's the screen. So this screen, you're looking at a 6.78 inch flat 1080p 90 hertz display. But when you put it up next to another phone, that's when you immediately notice something is very different about it. Mainly that there are no reflections at all. None. Well, almost none. So this phone is called the Next Paper because it has what TCL is calling a full color electronic paper display to deliver a reflection-free, full color paper-like visual experience, which looks way better, has much less fatigue on the eyes, and also feels better in the hand. And so my first thought when I first saw this was, okay, why doesn't every phone have this? Like, how is it a super cheap budget phone that's the first one I've seen to pull this off, and why aren't more phones doing this? What am I missing here? And so, of course, I had to use it to get all of these answers. So, okay, TCL calls it the Next Paper because they'd like you to think of it as just like an e-paper display. If you've ever seen a Kindle or any of the other various e-ink displays out there, that tech is actually kind of sick. It's amazing. It minimizes fatigue on the eyes, and it looks and feels like something's literally printed on a piece of paper, like a newspaper in front of you. It works great in all sorts of different lighting because it's literally rearranging actual ink underneath the display. But this is actually not that. Instead, it's an LCD display with a textured glass on top and some software tricks to resemble a paper-like display and deliver almost all of the eye comfort benefits that come with it. So the result is basically what looks like a normal smartphone screen with zero reflections, and I am very into that. Like, look at this screen next to a glossy, regular smartphone glass screen. Typically, when I review phones, like, I have to spend a lot of effort shielding these displays from reflections. That's a little known fact in this. I guess it's kind of inside baseball, but when you shoot reflective things, it is a challenge. I have to angle the phone certain ways, I have to shoot in certain environments, and I often use what we call a flag here, which is literally just to slide it in at a certain angle to block reflections and make the screen easier to see. It's a whole thing. But with this matte display, I mean, I just don't need any of that special treatment. Like, it's happy to show up at any angle. And the angles that would normally have a giant reflection, it just kind of looks a little bit lighter, a little faded, but still actually readable. And then when you're straight on, or just kind of regularly reading, it's nice and soft and it's less stressful on the eyes. It is kind of weirdly a little bit paper-like, like some of those paper-like displays. So almost all of this is enabled by hardware. So there are a bunch of extra layers between the actual LCD display and you, including this textured glass. And so that's all what gives it this anti-reflective look. There's also some other benefits, like physically limiting the amount of blue light that makes it through. So instead of a special mode in the software, there is just physically less blue light making it through.